You don't get to make the choice when you are not afraid anymore. You have to make the choice in order to abolish that fear. Hi YouTube! Hi YouTube! Okay, it's like 10 o'clock. My hair is parted silly because it's dirty. Also, one of my friends just put me on Mariah the Scientist. I was listening to you on the way home. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. I don't really have a clear footing or script for this video, I guess. I came back from my fall off, I guess, for a couple of months. My last video I was talking about it and how I just got out of probably the most intense depressive episode I've ever had. My depressive episodes have been, there hasn't been that many. There's been like 3 that I can count on my hand where it has been what I would consider bad. And this one was really bad. It stemmed from working at a job that really, really was not for me. I was working at a school. I was working for a great cause. I was in special education. I loved helping those kids. I still have so much love for those kids. The teacher that I worked under was wonderful, but I live in a town where I have never ever felt like I actually belonged. This job would have been the perfect job for a regular person, and I wanted it to be the perfect job for me while I figured my shit out and maybe furthered my career in education and kept doing it. Instead, I very quickly learned that it was not the environment that I was supposed to be in. And here's the funny thing. If you are somewhere that you are not supposed to be, your body will tell you. Your mind will tell you. It is not gonna let you for a second believe that you are in a situation that is sustainable, that could last. I'm apologizing for how much I'm touching my hair. I'm sorry. It's really dirty and I can't stop. I loved those kids so much. I worked with children with autism. They were so awesome. And working in education made me have so much more respect for people who work in education, especially in this day and age. I knew that I was doing something good. I knew I was going to work every day and I was giving back and I was doing something important, but I couldn't force myself to make that job good for me. I am not someone who has had panic attacks regularly since my dad passed away about 5 years ago. And I was having panic attacks and dissociative episodes on a weekly basis, multiple times a week, while working that job. I did not feel like I was in my body. I had heart tests done. I had lung tests done. I got so stressed out that my stomach became inflamed and I had to get a colonoscopy and an upper endoscopy because we thought that I had celiac or worse, Crohn's or something. I was so stressed. But things started going downhill really fast. I had to say to myself, hey, Sophia, you can't put yourself in a position where you are helping other people to your detriment to this extent. Like, it's okay to give a little bit of yourself sometimes and then get something back. This job wasn't giving me anything except experience and a knowing that I didn't want to further my career in education. And it felt like such a failure. I felt like such a failure and I felt like such an idiot because I was freaking out. My primary care physician put me on Zoloft, which made my depressive episodes so much worse, by the way. I'm off of it now. I'm doing much better. But I genuinely thought I was entering psychosis. It was one of the scariest things I've ever been through, if not the scariest thing I've ever been through. I was so exhausted every day. I stopped doing things that made me happy. I stopped doing YouTube. I didn't have the energy. I stopped working out. I stopped taking care of myself. I went to work looking sick and tired, and my family told me, and people I worked with told me. And I stayed because I thought, oh my God, what are these people gonna think of me when I fail them? Which isn't a good way to think about the choices that you want to make for yourself, because the only person you should be worried about failing is yourself, unless you have kids or something. But I'm not even gonna get into, I'm not bean souping this video. I got to a point after Christmas break, because that's whenever I realized, like, oh my God, I feel so much better and like I can breathe not going there every day, that I cannot let the disapproval of others stop me from doing what I want. And I thought for a long time, what would happen if I just did what I wanted instead of doing what I think I should do, instead of doing what other people are going to think is wise of me? Because I'm not here for anyone except for me. Like, yes, I have duties as a daughter and a partner and a friend, but I also have two choices. I can get really old without doing the things that I want to do because I'm afraid of what will happen if I do them. And then someday on my deathbed, I will be very angry at the fact that I didn't do the things that I wanted to do because it'll be too late. Or I can try and do the things that I want to do while understanding that the effects of my choices aren't entirely within my control. An example of this, which I'm not going to talk too much about because it's a personal endeavor, is how badly I miss theater. While I was working at this job, would see some of my friends who continued their college education, good for them, by the way, awesome for them, and like kept doing some theater stuff. I did theater in community college and I loved it, and I only got to do one show because I had a crazy experience with the theater professor. He got fired. It was a whole thing. I love acting, and I would see people do it via Instagram stories, and I would genuinely cry after because of how badly I missed doing that thing that I loved doing. Constantly reminisce on me doing things that I enjoyed and then go to work the next day and just know that I was not where I was supposed to be, and I wasn't anywhere that was going to help me get where I wanted to be, that was going to help me find my happiness. And I was doing important work, but it wasn't my work. It wasn't for me, and I knew that in my heart. And it didn't help that I worked at the school that I went to as a kid, where I was outcasted and bullied and never really accepted for who I was, and my talents weren't necessarily nurtured. I did art and I did choir, and I did those kinds of things in the school that I worked at. The town that I spent the first 10 years of my life in sort of centered around the American dream. And my dream is not like most people's dreams here. It never was. And I, from a very young age, felt like I had to put myself in this mold to be like everyone else, or else I wasn't going to succeed. If I was not like every other person in this town, I would be failing. And I regressed. I regressed at this job because I know there's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me being who I am and wanting the things that I want. It's this town. And there's nothing wrong with this town, but I don't belong here. And I have known that for a very long time. I have just tried desperately to belong here so that I wouldn't feel like I had to work so hard to get out and make something of myself. So after a lot of thought and a lot of unmanipulating myself, I quit. I quit the job. Immediate relief. That last day that I was in there, I felt so light. And the guilty part of me for even trying that job in the first place began to melt away because I realized you don't have to be a consistent version of yourself. No one should be a consistent version of themselves. In the way that, wow, my posture has been this bad the entire video. Okay, cool. In the way that you are always learning and you are always growing and you are always changing. You don't have to know what you're doing. You are allowed to change your mind, and you are not cemented in this version of your life. It is in your hands. You can cultivate change at any point, and you have no obligation to appeal to the people around you. In fact, the only way that you're going to find people that align with you and bring joy into your life and places that do the same thing and a career that does the same thing is if you honor the parts of yourself that maybe you have been trying so hard to push down and push back. I am still getting over wishing that I was different. I, for a very long time, have always said, God, I just wish I was normal. I just wish that I wanted normal things. I wish that I wanted to continue my college career. I wish that I wanted a normal job and to do normal things and have a normal life. And that's the last thing I want. The things that make me happy are not ordinary things. The things that I lay in bed at night and dream of whenever I'm thinking about my future, the things I want to do, the things that I want to achieve are not normal. They are not normal and they are not average. I am tired of being ashamed of what I want because of what other people are gonna think. I felt that way a lot as a little kid, and I definitely created a sort of suit of armor around myself, a mask to put on, a sort of lie about who I was, to just be accepted. And I have been pretending for a very long time that it's not that deep. but it is that deep. I don't want to live a life where I am just trying to blend in to places that I don't even want to be in or be accepted by people that I don't even really care about being accepted by. And I have recently felt so paralyzed by other people's perception of me that I'm like, oh, something is really wrong. Something's really wrong and I gotta get to the bottom of this. I know that I just want to be part of a collective because that's all that I've ever wanted. I went to preschool and this is weird. I don't know how well other people remember their preschool experience, but I remember my preschool experience very vividly. I remember going to school and I remember being shunned. And I know that's really weird. It starts from a very young age. Whenever you are different from the people around you, you are shunned. You are shunned for being different. I didn't conform in preschool, and guess who hated me for it? The teachers, my peers, my 4-year-old peers. I deserve to give little me a chance and a community and to try for her. I really just deserve to do the things that I want to do, even if I feel familial pressure, societal pressure, communal pressure to be a certain somebody. Hey, I'm not that person. I'm not that person, and actually, I'm the only one in here. I'm the only one in here, and I'm the only one who has to deal with all the stuff up here. So maybe let my garden grow. Maybe let me plant whatever I want to plant in my garden, because I'm looking at that view every day, and I get to choose the flowers, I get to choose the trees, I get to choose the grass. And yeah, there are gonna be people who walk by my garden and are like, wow, I would never do that with my garden. Wow, that is so strange. Wow, that is so weird and quirky. I would never plant tulips in my garden. Like, that's so tacky. Hey, I think they're beautiful. Hey, I think they're beautiful, and I've loved them since I was a little girl, so I deserve to plant tulips. The things that you want to do, the things that you want to accomplish, the things that you think about all the time that are consuming your thoughts. You are not here to live your family's dream for you, your town's dream for you, anyone else's dream for you. You are here with innate desires that you deserve to fulfill. And whatever limits you've created for yourself, whatever reason you think, oh, I can't do this or I can't do that because X, Y, and Z, you made that up. You made that up. That's not true. Actually, there's nothing you can't do. If you know exactly what you want to do and you are scared, that fear isn't going to go away. You don't get to make the choice when you are not afraid anymore. You have to make the choice in order to abolish that fear. And you know what? I'm still scared. I started doing the things I wanted to do. I quit the job I wanted to quit. I'm still afraid, but I'm doing it afraid. And what's gonna happen if you don't try? Nothing. No one is coming to save you. You don't have to wait. If you want to do something, you can do it. Because if you really want it that bad and you're thinking about it every day, it's gotta be important to yourself, right? So yeah, here I am. I'm back following my path. I think that's the basis of what I wanted to get across in this video. You're gonna see a lot more of me. You're gonna hear a lot more from me. I'm excited and I hope that you're excited. Comment something that you want to do and do it. I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next Wednesday.